You clicked on this video for a reason, and it's not just curiosity. Deep down, something in you is searching for balance. You live in a world that glorifies wealth, celebrates luxury, and convinces you that your worth lies in the brand of your clothes, the car you drive, or the digits in your bank account. But somewhere within you there's a voice asking, is there more than this? Can I live a life of purpose, success, and faith? Today, that voice will get its answer, because the Prophet Muhammad didn't just live between two extremes, wealth and poverty, leadership and humility. He mastered them both. He showed us how to navigate the dunya without letting it own your heart. This is not just a lecture. This is your blueprint for a powerful, faith-centered life. Welcome to Islamic Echoes. There's a misconception that the Prophet lived in poverty all his life, that he was poor, always in need, living hand to mouth. While it's true that he chose simplicity, it's false to assume he lacked financial knowledge or means. In fact, the Prophet was financially intelligent, strategic, and intentional. His first major financial venture was through Mudaraba, a profit-sharing business model. Khadija, his employer and later wife, provided the capital. The Prophet offered his skills and integrity. Their profits were split, and his honesty and success in trade became legendary. This wasn't luck. It was trust, hard work, and brilliant financial planning. As his mission grew, so did his resources. His sources of income included trade, gifts, spoils of war, of which he took only 1/5, per Islamic law, and inheritance. But here's where his brilliance shines. He invested his wealth strategically. He bought farmland assets that would generate income yearly, and just like you might rent out a property, he would use the proceeds of the land to fund his household and give the surplus in charity. And yet, despite his access to wealth, he never let it own his heart. This is where the contrast begins. Zuhud doesn't mean being broke, it means being uninterested in materialism. The Prophet owned land, had homes, managed wealth, but his heart was detached. He slept on a straw mat. His stomach would go empty for days. He wore simple clothes and lived in humble chambers, not because he had no other choice, but because he chose Allah over comfort. He had 9 homes, 1 for each wife. These were simple quarters, like studio apartments. His first major project in Medina: build the masjid, then build homes for his family's stability was important. Owning a home wasn't greed, it was strategy. Wealth was never the enemy. Attachment was. In the West, we chase status, we fear rent, we stress over mortgages. But the Prophet teaches us, plan smartly, provide for your family, but never let the dunya enter your heart. The Prophet didn't give everything away blindly. He was precise. He'd first set aside enough for his family's needs. The rest, charity. Allah, it says in the Quran, do not forget your share of the dunya. Even charity has strategy. You pay your bills, you support your family. Then, you give from the excess. You don't empty your account in emotion. You plan, you calculate, and you give for Allah with intention. The Prophet teaches us that faith and finance go hand in hand. He also taught us about waqf, endowment. He dedicated parts of his land as charity that continued to benefit others, even after his death. This is wealth with vision, charity that keeps giving. The Prophet was also a master negotiator. He trained his companions in trade. One of his students was Abdullah ibn Jadan, who he taught how to negotiate in the market. Given 1 dinar, the student bought 2 goats, sold one, returned the money, and kept 1 goat. Profit made, skills taught. This was mentorship in business, not just sermons on the minbar when he dealt with enemies. Like after the Battle of Khyber, he showed balance. He didn't destroy the Jews of Khyber. Instead, he negotiated. You can stay, farm your land, but give half your yield to the Muslims. A win-win rooted in justice. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah shows us another level of negotiation. Almost every term seemed to favor the Quraysh, and yet the Prophet signed it. Why? Because it secured peace. And through that peace, thousands entered Islam. This is wisdom, strategic compromise, delayed gratification. When money was short, the Prophet in panic, he used halal alternatives. One such was ran a pawn-like agreement. In Bukhari, it's narrated that the Prophet gave his shield to a Jewish man as security in exchange for barley. This wasn't shameful. This was smart financial planning. He needed food. He had a valuable asset. He leveraged it. He dealt with non-Muslims peacefully and justly. This is what financial integrity looks like. This is what wisdom looks like. You don't need to be rich to be righteous. And you don't need to be broke to be spiritual. The Prophet taught us balance. He managed money. He owned land. He built homes. He invested. He gave in charity. But he never lost his connection to Allah. Your home, it's a blessing. Your salary, a test. Your expenses, a responsibility. Your charity, a path to Jannah. So build, invest, plan, provide. But never forget, true success is when wealth is in your hand, not in your heart. Today you learned something most people overlook, that the Prophet Muhammad wasn't just a spiritual guide. He was a visionary, a strategist, a man of balance. He taught us that the best life is one where faith leads the finances, not the other way around. If this message shifted your mindset, if it lifted your heart or inspired your goals, Don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to see money through the lens of the Prophet. Subscribe to Islamic Echoes, where faith meets purpose. Drop a comment. What part of the Prophet's financial wisdom surprised you most? Hit the bell because more echoes of truth are on the way. This isn't just history. This is your blueprint. This is Islamic Echoes.